Good morning, Morai Rabotai. Be'ezrat Hashem, Mincha is going to be 8:10. Please be on time. As we were discussing yesterday, the halacha that if a person knows that he forgot to turn off the lights of the refrigerator, so he said he's not allowed to open up the refrigerator because it's definitely going to turn on the light. And even though the light might be LED, as all the lights are today, it doesn't make a difference. It's still asul to open it, even though he's not intending to turn on the light, because it's going to happen 100% that the light's going to turn on. Therefore, it's not allowed to open the fridge. However, although he did say he's not allowed to open and his child's not allowed to open it for him, one would be permitted to tell a goy directly to open the refrigerator. And the reason you're able to tell a goy to open the refrigerator in such a case is because the goy, when it comes to a goy doing something that he's not intending, then we say psik resha is not prohibited by a goy. I told him to open the refrigerator. Opening the refrigerator, that action on its own is not an action of isul. Okay, definitively it's going to turn on the light. But whose intent is that? That's the goy's intent. The goy's intent is, in terms of his intention, he is going ahead and opening the door. And therefore what's happening automatically, and sort of in a derech psik resha, is simply on the goy. It doesn't revert back to the Jew. And since the goy doesn't have to keep Shabbat, he's only obligated to to not violate Shabbat in things that he was commanded in doing. So if he was commanded to do a isul, so then it becomes a problem on the Jew. But in this case, he wasn't commanded to do an isul. He was commanded to do something that inherently was allowed. Elamai had a ramification of isul. That halacha is that psik resha by a goy is permitted, and therefore be mutar to tell him directly. As a matter of fact, once that is the case, that you're allowed to tell him directly to open the refrigerator, even though the light's going to turn on. In the olden times, where they used to have like actual light bulbs, Moshe Feinstein wrote that you're even allowed to tell him to remove the light bulb, because the removing of the light bulb is actually only a rabbinic prohibition, and you're allowed to tell a goy to remove it, assuming you're going to need it for the rest of Shabbat. Every single 5 minutes you're going to call a goy, so you're allowed to tell him to remove the light bulb. The equivalent today, a lot of times if you put magnets on top of the refrigerators, a lot of the new refrigerators, the magnet is able to disable it. So if you find the right place to put the magnet, you could disable it. You could tell the goy to put on the magnet and then it won't turn on, so that would be permitted. But again, those are dependent on which refrigerator you have. You don't have, that's already a question in the modern day sophistication of the refrigerators. But inherently, to tell the goy to open it is permitted. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.